What is up, everyone? 7 October's here. I'm chilling here in my room with my bird over here, Tupac. Today, I wanted to share my top list of 2023. Last year, I think I called it like Seven's Top 11, but this time I just want to kind of make it even shorter. It is hard to condense it because there was so many dope movies, shows, music. It's hard to keep up with it, but I kind of wanted to keep it short. I'll do like honorable mentions. So I want to do like top seven horror movies of this year, top seven horror shows, and top seven hip hop and rap albums. And then again, I'll do like honorable mentions. So for the horror movies, I'll start with that first. I kind of divided it seven mainstream and then seven indie. So my favorite horror movies of 2023 that were mainstream: Insidious, Red Door. I've always been a fan of the series. I really love it. The way they use music to kind of anticipate what's going to happen and like try to get you to get scared, and even the characters. Like I really love the story too, like the mythology of the realm on the other side, and all that stuff. So I've always been a fan of that series. I won't go too much into detail, but I do recommend it. If you've watched the other Insidious films, you'll dig it. It's kind of like a full circle moment for this film series. Next one is Dark Harvest. Honestly, I feel like this is underrated film. I don't know if a lot of people know about it. It's based on a book, a novel from I think 2007 by the same title. Um, and a friend put me onto it and told me that they were gonna drop it, and I watched it and I really liked it. So Dark Harvest. I said I'm not really gonna go into the premise. I'm just gonna give you the list. If you're interested in knowing more about it, let me know. DM me, and I can let you know. I don't want to like make this video too long, but Dark Harvest, check that one out. Next one, Totally Killer. This one was like a perfect mix of comedy and horror, in my opinion. If you watch Sabrina, I think the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. The main actress, I forgot her name. She's the main actress in this one as well for Totally Killer, and it was freaking hilarious. Like it was hilarious, but also like I wouldn't say scary, but a good like slasher. Um, so I recommend that one. That one's on Prime. My next number four, and again, this is no particular order at all. Number four would be Saw X. Again, I've been a fan of the series. Of course, like some of them were like whack, but I grew up in the era where like I went to the theater to see like when I think the second one, the first one, I didn't go see that one in theaters, but I think from the second to whenever I would go see them in theaters, even the shitty ones. I don't know. I love also the storyline of John Kramer, why he does what he does. Obviously, throughout the series, it kind of got like it lost its meaning a bit. But this one, we get John Kramer again, and it's dope. And I like it takes place in Mexico. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that one. But I recommend that one. Number five, Thanksgiving. Eli Roth delivered with this one. Just typical like slasher, and if you know Eli Roth, he used a lot of gore. If you're just wanting to be entertained, it's not gonna be like over here with a deep meaning or anything like that. So if you're looking for something like that, that's probably not gonna be up your lane. But if you're a fan of Eli Roth, his gore, it has a little bit comedic side to it too as well. Then you'll dig this one. The next one, It Lives Inside. This one, I don't know if it's considered, I would say mainstream because I went to see it in theaters, but it's based on I believe, Indian type of like mythology, like monster. And I don't know, I really like to see like more black and brown representation. So I thought it was dope seeing two uh, brown people on the screen. Really dope film. Check it out. Like I said, I'm not going to give too much away on the premise. The next one, number seven for the mainstream horror movies, is Unseen. That one, it was on Prime, I believe, and that was through Blumhouse. Really dope film too. For that one, yeah, I'm not gonna give out the concept. Just go check it out, Unseen. And then for my favorite horror movies on the indie side, Huesera. And I was blessed enough to actually interview the director, Michelle Garza Cervera, who directed Huesera, on my podcast this season. I met her at the Latino Film Festival, and she showed the film. I really like loved it, like the imagery, the whole meaning of the film, like the storytelling, the cast. Like I said, it has a lot of different messages woven into the story. But I'll just leave it at that. Again, that one was one of my favorites of this year for indie. Legions is another one. That one's from Argentina. So Huesera is Mexican, a Mexican film. Legions is from Argentina, and it was released last year, I believe, but this year in the U.S., I believe in January. And that's like, I'll leave it to say this. It's like almost like a little bit of like Evil Dead vibes. Like I really like loved this. It's like a mythology to indigenous like stuff. So really good film. When Evil Lurks, again, that one I've been hearing like people either loved it or hated it. I loved it. Again, also like around like Evil Dead vibes, like demon stuff. Argentinian as well. I keep saying like Argentinian horror is like killing it right now, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, check that one out as well. Number 4, The Black Girl and Her Monster. Shout out to Bomani J Story. I actually had him on the podcast as well. Got to interview him and speak to him about his film and a little bit about his background and everything. So really dope film. Check that one out. Next one, Where the Devil Roams. This one I have not seen it yet, but I know I'm gonna like it because I had the Addams Family, which is literally a family that creates horror movies, and they're like independent, really dope. This is their latest film, and I'm gonna put it on my list because I know I'm gonna like it. They have another dope film, Hellbender, that I really love. It's about witches. So if you haven't seen that one, I believe I put that one in my list last year or like a couple years ago. But Where the Devil Roams, and I believe it's on streaming, so I'm gonna rent it and watch it. But I know that one, I'm gonna like it. It's I think it's something with carnival, family, and killing. That's the basic premise, I think. The next one will be Talk to Me. It's Australian. I think it A24 put it out there, but it's still considered indie. It was two Australian brothers that directed this. I think they were YouTubers, and then now they're doing filmmaking, which is really inspiring. But I really love this one as well, like the whole mythology behind this story too. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I believe I'm pretty sure you can rent it as well on streaming. But either way, check that one out. And so those are my top 7 for mainstream and indie. And I skipped one on my list. Everybody Dies by the End, a local San Diego indie film. That's another one that made the top 7 because if you count, I actually missed one. I was going too fast, but check that one out as well. I believe that one's also on streaming now. And I'll just give some honorable mentions because, like I said, there were so many horror movies that came out this year. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of dope films out there this year, in my opinion, and music as well. So we'll get into that in a second. But for the honorable mentions, I'm just going to say Sick, The Blackening, The Wrath of Becky. Is a sequel to the first one, I believe, which is called Becky. Haunted Mansion, which is more horror, more comedy, family, but it still has some horror elements. I really love that film. Scream 6. I'm just a Scream fan overall. Megan actually surprised me. That was the first movie I watched this year, either that one or Knock at the Cabin. But Megan, I really liked that film. It took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be kind of dumb, but it had some cool storyline on there. Next one, No Filter on Tubi. Honestly, it's not like the acting wasn't the best, all this, but I just really like the concept of this film. I won't give it away. You can look it up, or like I say, you can DM me and I'll let you know what it's about and we can talk about it. Next one, The Appendage. I love body horror. And that one's, I think, on Hulu. So I recommend that one if you're into body horror. It's a Wonderful Knife. That one is, I believe, on Shudder. And that one's like horror comedy. Like I said, it's shitty. That like the best. Like it's probably like a B horror movie, but I really liked it. I did. I dig it. And then No One Will Save You. I gotta mention this one. It's not something that like was like a favorite of mine, but I thought it was cool. I mean, it was an alien abduction. There was no dialogue whatsoever. It was kind of going around when it came out, and it was decent. It was a good alien abduction movie. I wouldn't say it was like a favorite on my alien abduction movies, but I just thought it kind of stood out just a little bit for that reason. And so, because I don't think I've seen an alien abduction with no dialogue that I can think of right now at the top of my head. So that one was my honorable mention, and that's pretty much sets it for the horror movies of 2023. And then I want to do horror TV shows. So there was like, again, a lot of shows as well. It's hard to be able to do all this and, watch, but I try to kind of stay on top of it. And so these are my top 7. Number 1, and again, no particular order, The Last of Us, Swarm, Dead Ringers, The Fall of the House of Usher. I can't even say enough about the show. I really loved it. I watched it twice. I binge watched it twice. That one's on Netflix, so I do recommend it. If you like Edgar Allan Poe, gothic type of vibes, and great storytelling. It's a slow burn, but if you like really great storytelling, The Fall of House of Usher. Honestly, I said no particular order, but that's my number one show right now this year. Wolf Like Me, season 2. That's another show that I didn't even know existed. Horror comedy. La Hora Marcada, they actually redid this as a Mexican series, kind of almost like Twilight, Tales from the Crypt vibes, I think is what it is. I never saw it because it was before my time, but they remade it, and they have a lot of Latino directors, I believe, doing these like short, kind of like anthology series. So I put it on here. I haven't seen it, but I know it's going to be dope. So I had to put it on here. And then the last one too, I haven't seen it either, but it's called Pinches Momias. It's a Mexican like mummy horror show. It looks like more like teenagers of the cast or like kids. I just put it on there. Like I said, I haven't seen those last two, but I know that they're going to be dope. So those are the shows. And then I do have some honorable mentions. The Other Black Girl, 30 Monedas, 30 Coins, season 2, and Chucky season 3. And let me know what your guys's were. You might not like the ones I picked. I mean, everybody has their own taste. But let me know what you thought. If you agree with some of them, if you like some other ones that I might have missed. I did see a lot other ones, but again, I have to keep the list short. If not, this video would be so long. And now to the second part of the list. It's my favorite hip hop rap albums of 2023. I narrowed it down to 7. It was hard. There's a lot of music that came out. But I wanted to just leave 7, and I'm going to do some honorable mentions. And again, this is not, doesn't even begin to like say like all the stuff that I heard throughout the year. There was other favorite stuff, but again, I don't want to make this video too long. So again, no particular order. Number 1, Chino XL, God's Carpenter. You love lyricism, dark vibes, all this stuff. Chino XL, God's Carpenter. Check it out. I was blessed to be able to have interviewed him this year. Him and his and a really dope graphic illustrator for his comic book, and he also does hip hop comics, Gift Revolver. So shout out to him as well. But yeah, Chino XL dropped a dope ass album. So if you haven't heard it, check it out. Next, RJ Payne, The Barbershop. RJ Payne dropped a bunch of freaking dope projects this year, but The Barbershop really stood out to me. Really dope from top to bottom. I would say it's considered more like an EP because it's shorter, but he talks about really dope topics that you can relate to. So that's what I really love about him, his storytelling. He's so clear, his lyricism, his puns, everything. Check it out. And again, I was blessed to have him on the podcast this year as well. Next, Killer Mike's Michael is after his name. Really dope album as well, introspective. Check it out. Next, Russ Santiago. I can talk enough about this album. Really dope album. Russ like has leveled up. Pretty much, he said that he went to therapy, and right after therapy, he was like pretty much writing each song. So really dope album about like self-discovery, like pretty much like getting to know yourself. It's like literally like a therapy album. He like talks about all his stuff that he's gone through. Oh, that's a really inspirational. Check it out. Next, Stevie Crooks, The Invisible Man. Great as well from top to bottom. Like it has like a narration by Curtis King. It just like tells a story, like really dope lyricism. Next, Curtis King himself, Storm's Symphony. I feel like I messaged him too because it's a really dope album. He actually put it on Even. He didn't release it on streaming, pretty much made it available to just the fans, whoever wanted to support and actually purchase. And so I, of course, wanted to show love, and I purchased it. It's literally like what it says is a symphony. Like this can be honestly played if you're from San Diego at the Shell, where they have like symphonies and orchestras and all this stuff. Like the strings are beautiful. Like there's so much like instrumental. I mean, he comes from like also like being a producer, so it's beautifully crafted. Like I said, I don't want to go too in depth all these, but really dope album as well. It's a little bit on the shorter end, but I love it. These just has 10 songs, not that short, but he has like ones where it's just kind of like instrumentals, and then he has a mix of him rapping, some features, singing, a little bit of everything. So check that one out. And then lastly, again, this is a mix of indie and mainstream rap albums of 2023. Vel 9, Nina. Vel 9, really dope lyricist as well. She has like this dope, like, I don't know, like cadence flow that she has that I don't know. I really personally like, always like jazz infused a little bit in her music, and a little bit more on the like New York vibe in this album. And then for the honorable mentions, love the Genius tape, really dope MC. Shay Noir, Noir or Never. Nas, Magic 2. Boz, just he's under Dreamville, under J. Cole's label. He dropped one just actually like this month, I believe. We only talk about real shit when we're fucked up. Really dope album too. I've been listening to it. I haven't heard it in its entirety, so that's why I'm just mentioning as an honorable mention, because I haven't had enough time to like sit with it. But again, Boss, we only talk about real shit when we're fucked up. And these last two are not really rap. I would consider them, yeah, I would consider them rap. Technically they wouldn't fall under that genre. They would fall under more like Latin music, reggaeton, música urbana, like, but they're still rapping in my opinion. And so these is going to be Tremendo Cabrón by Eladio Carrion, really dope lyricist, rapper too as well. I believe he's from Puerto Rico. He's one of my favorite artists right now. He's a really dope rapper in Spanish. And then obviously this one's kind of obvious. Bad Bunny, Nadie sabe lo que va a pasar mañana. He went in honestly in this album, I believe. Like I'm not gonna say I'm a huge Bad Bunny fan. I've listened to his albums here and there. Like the last couple, they've been cool, but I feel like this one he went back to his roots, like his rapping roots, and he had like bars, like he was talking his shit. So I gotta mention Bad Bunny, Nadie sabe lo que va a pasar mañana. And then I want to drop probably later outside of this video, like albums that I like that not necessarily are in the rap genre or hip hop genre, just because I feel like I listen to a little bit of everything, and I want people to like be able to see or even just know about other albums that they might even be interested in that are not in this genre, because I listen to a little bit of everything, like I said. So I'll share that probably like separately on my Instagram, non hip hop rap albums. And yeah, I hope you guys dug this list. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. Let me know what you guys thought, what your favorite horror movies, favorite horror shows this year were. Same thing for like hip hop and rap albums. Let me know what were some of your favorites. And yeah, hope you guys dug this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already, please follow me on all social media, 7 Octobers, and my podcast, Nightmare on Sedgwick Avenue, under 7 Octobers as well, my YouTube channel. And I'm on all streamings right now. And yeah, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day whenever you're watching this. Peace.